going back to a little history lesson. Going back to 1917, our great-grandfather and great-uncle decided to open shop in downtown Los Angeles. What I got a couple things I'm going to be passing around. Here is, back in the day, our ancestors, we were actually true wholesalers back in the day. So what we did is my grandfather and uncle, they would go ahead and make rings, and then they would sell it to other jewelry stores throughout the country. So they were true wholesalers, and what these guys did, I'm going to pass this around. Here are literally rubber molds of rings. I got a whole wall, we call it the pigeonhole wall, and it's all pigeonholes with all these rubber molds stuffed in here. So they actually went ahead and produced these guys are just silver models of rings. Then you mold it and then you mass produce after that. So when I say we're a jeweler, we work on the stuff. We're not just a retail shop that pushes product out the door. That is what the big chain corporate jewelers do. Everybody's heard of Jared, Kay's, and Zales. Those are all owned by one big corporation, Signet Corp. And their main goal is to push product, as much product, out the door as possible with their hundreds of stores throughout the country to make their shareholders more rich. That's what they do. That's not what we do. We're actually a jeweler that we're passionate, we work on it. Dr. Mark, welcome.
Oh, got to unmark it.
We've got 5 generations now working in the business. My oldest son is doing a lot of behind the scenes stuff with, as you can imagine, digital, social media, website, emails. He's handling all that. He went to school, got a 2-year degree on social media marketing, so he's handling all that. Here's also, back in the day, here's a manufacturing jeweler's board of trade booklet. What this is all the manufacturers had ratings on their businesses. How solvent were they? Did they pay their bills? Was there any complaints? Kind of the, their business bureau, but this is for the manufacturers. This was printed in September of 1928. If you go to where the paperclip page is and it's highlighted, there's Ballard and Ballard right there. So right there, 1928, manufacturers. So now, they went ahead and produced, and were wholesalers through the teens, 20s, 30s, and 40s, 50s and 60s. My father opened it up and said, well, our jewelry store clients, they can purchase our jewelry, their employees can purchase, they can purchase jewelry. So basically from that point on, from the 50s and 60s was a slow transition from getting off of wholesale and going into retail. Still in downtown Los Angeles since 1917. My father opened up several different offices in downtown, depending on rents and everything. But we're still manufacturers, but we manufacture to the public. Actual jewelers that work on the stuff. We don't rely on the stuff to come from China and then just resell it. We do a lot of custom designs and remarks. Here is also a confidential diamond price list from 1960. So here's the prices right now, like a 1 carat diamond, basically perfect diamond, $675. That was wholesale. That's wholesale. $675. That same caliber of diamond in today's market is about $9,000. Wholesale. That's wholesale. So I'll just pass that around. It's kind of neat. So basically, our family's been making jewelry for many, many generations, many decades. Flash forward up to about 1983, my father got sick and tired of downtown Los Angeles, pulled the whole operation up out of there, and moved it to Glendale, where our whole family grew up in the foothills in Glendale, California, not Arizona. So we moved it all right there. One of the best moves we ever made, got out of downtown LA. Downtown LA in the 80s, early 80s especially, was just not a pretty sight. Did not want our clients to step over the bumps, to come on up. Sidewalks smelled like urine. Homeless was even a factor back then. It's a lot worse now. So he just pulled the whole operation up out of there. Good move. Now we flash forward to 1995, and that's when my brother and I decided to, we purchased the business from our father. He retired. We closed Glendale and moved it all down here to Orange County. We were, prior to this location right across the street, we were over at the corner of Euclid and Warner, over by the Fountain Valley Hospital. Upstairs in a medical building. For years, if a couple of you guys know, remember Jumco, Fedco, Service Merchandise, all those membership places. Well, my dad ran with the marketing plan of being a membership jeweler, and that's where we were always upstairs on a certain floor, especially like in downtown LA. We weren't on the street level, we were upstairs. Same thing here, we were over at the Euclid and Warner on the 3rd floor of a medical building.
Wow.
3rd floor of a medical building. Crazy.
Yeah.
And we did some good business because we were a membership, so we had a lot of referrals and a lot of repeat business. Well, 1995, Glenn and I purchased the business from our father, said, let's get the heck out of this medical building.
Yeah.
It just didn't make sense at the time. So now, here we are, we moved over here across the street. We've been there for 23 years, just signed another 5-year lease on it. So we're there. So we're still manufacture jewelry. Over there, we've got a full shop, we got jewelry benches, we work on it. So this isn't just a store that just pushes product. We're very passionate about jewelry. I started on the jewelry bench 35 years ago, making rings and sizing rings and all sorts of stuff. Now I'm in the business, about ready to purchase the business from Glenn. Glenn owns certain shares, so we're going to buy him out at the end of this year, and then it'll be my wife and I are going to carry it on for another 10 plus years. Go from there. So now, we're a 105-year-old company, but we're not an old, stuffy 5-year-old company. We are up to the latest technologies, latest trends. So to back up a little bit, Glenn, my brother, went to GIA, Gemological Institute of America, to learn how to professionally color pencil jewelry for presentations. So this is what he did. He would actually, went to school, learned how to shade gold, shade the diamonds, make the facets on the diamonds. So when someone would come in for a custom piece, they would sit down with Glenn, do a couple of crude pencil sketches, and then Glenn would go ahead and hand draw these for presentation, okay? So now, that's what we used to do. So now, this is what we do now. Same principle, and I'll pass these around, but now I'm on, Glenn and I are both on the latest CAD computer-aided design software. So now this is what I present clients. We actually jump on the computer now. We got computer modeling. I'm working on like 3 projects right now. Previous jewelry that was bought years ago, but we're restyling it. We're just simply removing the gems from the old metal and transferring it into some new designs. So it's really, really neat to work with this new software. It works really well to show the clients every single view that we can, put it on a finger, it gives a good size reference. So it's a really neat way with the cutting technology now to help people. Now with the computer-aided designs now, a lot of times I'll come up with a design and then we just simply download that computer file to a milling machine or a 3D printer. And it prints it right out. Then you have your wax or resin model, that's what you cast in the metals. There's no need to do, unless you're going to do mass manufacturing, there's really no need to do the rubber molds. Right now, I could repeat this process over and over again. So it works out really, really well. Brought a couple of other things just to pass on around. We do specialize in diamonds. We've got an office in Antwerp, Belgium, that we actually set up about 15 years ago. We travel over there to actually cherry pick all of our diamonds. 73% of the world's supply actually goes to Antwerp, Belgium for cutting and trading. So we go directly to the source. Colored gems and custom designs also is what we do. Here is one. I picked up this loose gemstone at a gem show. It's called an ametrine, and if you look at it really closely, it's citrine and amethyst all in one. So what happened is the top portion of the stone is yellowish color and it bleeds into a purple color, which is amethyst. It's called an ametrine. So I picked the stone loose, very unusual shape, not a calibrated shape that you would see anywhere else. So then, that's kind of the same thing. I jumped on my CAD software, took all the measurements of that, and then actually designed it all up on the computer. The whole cage that's surrounding it is done by CAD software. That gemstone's kind of unusual too, to where when you look at it, it looks like it has little bubbles in it. But if you look and you flip the stone over on its backside, there's actual little divots that have been drilled into the back of the stone to give it that bubble illusion. So it's really cool, the artistry of the stone cutting. When you take a raw crystal or diamond, gemstone, wherever it is, the artistry comes into play of how you create that beauty with the reflections of light. Just passing around a couple of other things. These two cluster rings, this kind of up to the latest technologies and latest trends, laboratory grown diamonds. Okay. These two cluster rings, there's one, and there's one. It's a laboratory created diamond. It is a real diamond. It is not fake or imitation. The best analogy I use is if you buy flowers, either at a florist or a grocery store, question to you is, are those flowers real? Yes? No? Are they real?
They're real.
Okay. They were not grown in the wild. They were grown in a controlled environment. It's the same principle. There's actual process that will actually grow the crystals. So we're up to the latest technologies, latest trends. Laboratory grown diamonds. The big advantage is a fraction of the price of a natural diamond out of the earth.